As you were at the top of the table over in Italy, with Internazionale still reigning supreme over Napoli in their race for the title. That's right, but can anyone close the gap on the top two? We'll take a look at that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video today. It's all about Matchday number 32. That's right, and we'll get to it in a second. Of course, if you knew where you've been, smash your subscribe button. You want to stop shop for Serie A, Barbarovas, World Football. We've got it all here under our Ruski. That's right, it is a two-horse race for the title. But what about the race for Champions League and to, of course, avoid the bloody drop? We'll take a look at all of that and much more in a second. If you knew where you've been, hit the old subscribe and a big shout out to the members and the patrons. You know who you are. What we'll do now, though, is, of course, revisit those last round of games and then, of course, bring you bang up to date with the Superbru and then kick on forward to this weekend's drama. So sit tight, hold on, let's get into it right here, right now. No rest for the wicked as we get into the deep end right here, right now, reviewing the last round of results, and they're on the screen right about now. Kick it all off with a Genoa victory over Udinese, 1-0 winners. I got that one spot on. Meanwhile, Monza did only draw. Actually, my prediction was a draw against Como. They lost 3-1 in the end. Parma and Inter with a 2-2 draw thriller right there, point apiece against the grain. Meanwhile, Milan did only draw as well against Fiorentina. Got those two wrong. Lecce, though, did draw with Venezia 1-1. Empoli did draw with Cagliari 0-0. So the draws galore here. Torino with a 1-1 draw against Verona went the other way, went with a win. Lazio with a big important win over Atalanta, 1-0 winners. I went again the other way. Roma also drew with Juventus 1-1, and Bologna and Napoli also duking out 1-1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 draws, all galore this past weekend over in Italy, of course. But the table looks a little bit like this, guys. It is Internazionale running away with it. 68 points. Napoli are in second. Atalanta and Bologna in those Champions League spots with Juventus just on the outside. And Lazio in top 6 going down. Monza, they look doomed. Venezia also pretty much doomed. Empoli, though, still got a bit of life in the tank with Lecce, Parma, maybe Cagliari still looking over the shoulder at the time of asking. So that's that, of course. What about the Superbru then? Let's bring you back up to date with that. As you see, it is Junior kicking ass and taking names with 12 points this past weekend. Vindala victory also alongside him in silver, 11.5. Alex Weller with a massive 10 points as well. What about you guys? If you see a name in there, do the honours and smash the likey, smash your subscribe, and hit the old business right there. Oh, meanwhile, the race for the actual title, TAB is number 1 spot with 330.5. Raymond Martins alongside him though in second spot. Summer 2018 is in bronze as the top 4 are non-movers. Dream Marley trying to close in on them at the moment. Junior though moving up 1 spot to number 5 into the Power 5, but of course it's still lots of points on the offering. I officially am out just so that you can relax. You can relax a little bit. I'm not gonna win this one. I thought, you know what? Let's let them have it. Let them have it. Meanwhile, if you want to remind yourselves of how to do it or get involved with the Prediction League, or if you're new to the setup, this is of course the link. Go there, get familiarised with it, because we'll be back next season where I'll win the whole bloody thing, each and every one of the leagues. So that's that. Now these are the next round of games, and they're coming at you this coming weekend. Starting with a trip to Stadio Friuli, Udinese taking on AC Milan. That's right. Udinese under Kostya Šunić are 11th right now, 40 points for the season. They've lost 3 on the spin. Up against Milan under Sergio Conceição, they're 9th right now, also without 3 matches without a win right now. They played 65 times since 1993, 18 wins Udinese, 32 wins for Milan. There's been 15 draws between two sides last time around. Over at this very venue was a 5-goal thriller, 3-2 win it was for Milan way back in January 2024. This time around though, 1-0 winners. Milan coming out on top against Udinese to make it back-to-back wins. That's right. Milan though on the back of that 2-2 draw against Fiorentina. Udinese losing to Genoa this past weekend. But the odds on this one, they'll back AC Milan to get the win over Udinese in their own backyard, as do I. Not me. I'm going with a draw here. Surprise, surprise. They're kind of middle of the pack table right now on the outside looking in. I think Udinese will get something out of it. Cause frustrations for Milan fans up and down the country. Meanwhile, Venezia taking on Monza, coming out on April the 12th. That's right, at the Stadio Pierluigi Penzo. Venezia under Eusebio Di Francesco, 19th right now, 21 points for the season. They're winless in the last 13. However, just 1 defeat in the last 6. They've drawn 5 at the last 6. Goodness gracious me. Monza on the flip side, 20th from the table, 50 points for the season. Just 1 draw in the last 6. They are winless in the last 11. Now, they played 19 times since 1997. 8 wins Venezia, 5 wins Monza. There's been 6 draws between the two sides, including the reverse fixture. 2-2 it was way back in October 2024. Now, the last time they played at this very venue was a 2-0 win for Monza back in December 2020. That was in Serie B. Venezia, though, picking up a 1-1 draw against Lecce. Monza losing to Como. Como last time around. But the odds on this one, Venezia expected to get the W. Monza look doomed. I'm going with a 1-0 win as well to give themselves their first win in a long, long time. Meanwhile, Internazionale taking on Cagliari, coming at you at the Giuseppe Meazza. Internazionale under Simone Inzaghi are top of the pops right now. Back-to-back draws for them, but they're unbeaten in at least the last 6. Up against Cagliari under David Nicola. 33% form for them right now. Just 1 defeat in the last 4. They're down to 15th with 30 points for the season. And they played each other 53 times since 1993. 30 wins for Inter. There's been 7 wins for Cagliari. There's been 16 draws between the two sides. Last time around at this very venue, it was one of those 16 draws. It was a 2-2 draw way back in April 2024. Now the reverse fixture, a 3-0 win for Inter at Cagliari back in December. Cagliari, though, on the back of that new draw against Empoli, they make it back-to-back clean sheets. Only 1 goal conceded, though, in the last 3. Up against Inter, back-to-back draws, drawn with Milan in the Coppa Italia semi-final, also drawn with Parma most recently as well. Busy week for them as well, with Champions League on the offering. What do we expect? We do expect an Internazionale win here. Of course we do. 3-1 winners in the end, Inter taking the 3 points and remaining top of the pops, it looks like. Juventus up against Lecce on the 12th of April, coming to the Allianz Stadium. Juventus under Igor Tudor. 5th in the table, 56 points for the season. Back-to-back games now without a loss. Up against Lecce under Marco Giampolo. Down to 17th right now, 26 points for the season. They played Juventus 31 times since 1993. 20 wins for the old lady. 3 wins for Lecce. There's been 8 draws. Last time around, of course, over at this very venue, it was a 1-0 win for Juventus back in September 2023. The reverse fixture this campaign, though, in Lecce was a 1-1 draw back in December 2024. Lecce, though, also on the back of a draw themselves, drawing with Venezia last time around. Juventus also drawing with Roma. So when you look at the last match for each one of these two opponents, and the last match between all these opponents have all ended up all square 1-1s all around. The bookies, though, don't see it. They'll go with Juventus, as do I. I'm going with a 2-0 win for the old lady to get themselves a big 3 points, maybe a push for the top 4. Meanwhile, Ding Dong Classic on Sunday, April the 13th, is Atalanta against Bologna at the Guais Stadium. Of course, Atalanta under Gianpiero Gasparino are 3rd right now, 58 points for the season. They're 42% form. They've lost 3 on the spin. Up against Bologna under Vincenzo Italiano, they are 4th with 57 points, 92% form for them at the moment. They played 44 times since 1996, 20 wins for Atalanta, 12 wins Bologna. There's been 12 draws between these two sides. Last time around at this very venue, in the league, it was a 2-1 win for Bologna way back in March 2024. Now, the reverse fixture this season at Bologna was a 1-1 draw. Now, they've also played at the Coppa Italia quarter-final stages. Bologna coming out top with a 1-0 win back in February. Bologna, though, picking up a draw against Napoli. Lazio beating Atalanta last round. Back-to-back, actually 3 defeats on the spin. 3 matches without a goal as well for Atalanta. So grim times for them in the season. The bookies have them winning this one. Bologna, not so much. I've gone with a 2-1 win, but looking at that form, I might have to flip that sucker around. Sticking with a 2-1 win, though, Atalanta should hopefully bounce back, according to my eyes. Meanwhile, Fiorentina against Parma, coming at the Stadio Armando Franchi. Fiorentina under Rafael Palladino are 8th in the table, 52 points for the season. They're unbeaten in the last 4. Up against Parma under Christian Chivu, down to 16th right now, 27 points for the season. They're unbeaten in the last 4, just 1 defeat in the last 6. When I say unbeaten in the last 4, they've drawn 4 on the spin. They played Fiorentina 49 times since 1995. 19 wins Fiorentina, 13 wins for Parma, and there's been 17 draws. Now, the last time they played competitively at this very venue in the league, should we say, it was a 3-3 draw way back in March 2021. The reverse fixture also a 1-1 draw way back in August. That was match number 1 between these two sides. Parma, though, also drawing with Inter 2-2 most recently. Fiorentina also drawing with Milan 2-2. So again, similar draws galore all over the place. The bookies odds on this one, they go with Fiorentina over Parma, as do I. 1-0 winners. And of course, important win for them for their race for European football once again. Verona up against Genoa, coming at the Stadio Mattiano Petagodi. Verona under Paolo Zanetti are 14th right now, 31 points for the season. They're unbeaten in the last 3. Up against Genoa under Patrick Vieira in 12th right now, 38 points for the season and just 1 defeat in the last 5. They played 30 times since 1997. 8 wins Verona, 11 wins for Genoa. There's been 11 draws. Last time around over at this very venue was a 2-1 win for Genoa way back in March. When I say March, I meant April 2024, around about this time last season. Earlier in the season, there was a 2-0 win for Verona at Genoa back in September. Verona back-to-back draws for them at the moment. They're unbeaten, though, in the last 3 matches. Genoa on the back of that 1-0 win over Udinese in their last match. The bookies odds on this one will find it quite tight. It could be a draw here, guys. I've gone with a away win here. Genoa taking the 3 points. Vieira's boys are cooking. Meanwhile, Como under Torino, taking on Torino this coming week over the Stadio Giuseppe Signalia. Como under Cesc Fabregas, 13th for the table, 33 points for the season, just 1 win in the last 5. Up against Torino under Paolo Vanoli, they are 10th right now, 40 points for the season. They're unbeaten in at least the last 6. However, in those last 4 of those last 6, 3 of those have been draws. So 3 draws at the last 4 matches. They played Como 5 times in 2003, 1 for Como, 3 for Torino, 1 draw between the two sides. Last round at Como was a 2-0 win for Torino back in September 2003. The reverse fixture this season at Torino was a 1-0 win for the hosts back in October. So 3 wins on the spin for Torino over Como, 3 games without conceding a goal against them. Torino picking up a draw against Verona most recently. Como on the back of that 3-1 win over Monza. The odds right here right now, Como expected to get the W, Torino not so much. I've gone with a draw here, point apiece, to continue Torino's good bit of form. Into the final 2, we have Lazio against Roma. It's the Rome derby coming to Stadio Olimpico. Of course, Lazio and Marco Baroni are 6th right now, 55 points for the season, just 1 defeat in the last 6. It begins with Roma under Claudio Ranieri. They're 7th with 53 points for the season and just 1 defeat in the last 6. They played 70 times since 1993, 22 wins for Lazio, 29 wins for Roma. There's been 19 draws. Last time around, of course, when Lazio were the hosts at this very venue, it was a 0-0 draw in the league back in November 2023. The reverse fixture this season, when Roma were the hosts, was a 2-0 win for Roma back in January. Roma on the back of that draw against Juventus. They've only conceded 1 goal in the last 3. Up against Lazio, picking up a 1-0 win over Atalanta. Just 1 win though in the last, I don't even know how many games is that. 1 win in the last 5. The bookies odds on this one, they'll give it to, where am I looking at here? They'll give it to Lazio. Actually, it is even Stevens across the bookies odds. Smells like a draw. I've gone with a draw, 2-2 in the end. And it just really puts them wherever they are, really in the table. No advantage gain over in Rome. Meanwhile, Stadio Diego Armando Maradona, Napoli, need a win up against Empoli. Antonio Conte's boys are 2nd right now, 65 points for the season, just 1 defeat in the last 6. Up against Empoli and Roberto Di Viesa, they are 18th right now, 24 points for the campaign. They are winless in at least the last 6 matches. Now, they played 24 times since 1997, 10 wins apiece and 4 draws, goodness gracious me. Last time around, over at this very venue, over in Napoli, it was a 1-0 win for Empoli back in November 2023. The reverse fixture this season was a 1-0 win for Napoli over Empoli back in October. The hosts, though, on the back of that draw against Bologna, surprise, surprise. Meanwhile, Empoli on the back of that 0-0 draw against Cagliari, they haven't scored a goal in the last 2. The bookies odds on this one, they'll give it to Napoli. They were expected and should win this game. If they don't, the title is over. I'm going to go with a 3-1 win, Napoli to take it to the house. And of course, that, my friends, will leave us up to this. Of course, Inter running away with it, 71 points. Napoli in 2nd spot, and then Atalanta in 3rd. Going down, Monza, Empoli, and Venezia. Still a lot of points on the offering. Please make sure you subscribe, smash the like, hit the bell, and all that kind of jazz. And we'll be back very, very soon for the next round of games. But until then, we're just about done.